Are we at a critical point inside the Muslim world?
Yes.
ساجد حسين السمان مشي حالك محمد حسين السمان هاني حسين السمان.
حضرة ميرزا مسرور أحمد أيده الله تعالى بنصره العزيز هو الخليفة الخامس للجماعة الإسلامية الأحمدية، وحضرته شخصية إسلامية بارزة في العالم تعمل على تعزيز السلام والوئام بين الأديان، ومن خلال خطبه ومحاضراته وكتبه واجتماعاته الشخصية دأب حضرته على الدعوة إلى عبادة الله تعالى وخدمة الإنسانية، كما يدعو باستمرار إلى إقامة حقوق الإنسان الشاملة والعدالة المطلقة في جميع مجالات المجتمع. دعونا نلقي نظرة على بعض أنشطة أمير المؤمنين التي قام بها هذا العام.
With those that oppose that planned monstrosity of placing a mosque at ground zero. This is an affront. It's a slap in the face. It's a dagger in the heart of our nation by a religious system that killed over 3,000 of our citizens on September 11, 2001.
And I would also like to inform you that the status of the mosque as a place of refuge is not limited only to those who enter it, but in wider terms, it means that even those who live in the surrounding areas will always be safe and will never have any reason to fear the worshippers of the mosque. And not only will the local people be able to live safely and peacefully, but they will also find that every Ahmadi Muslim will stand shoulder to shoulder with them in an effort to establish a society filled with peace, love, and compassion.
At a time when there is so much uncertainty in various parts of the world, at a time when it's so easy to see the things that separate people and the things that can create divisions, it was wonderful to hear such a message of tolerance and hear such a clear argument for bringing people together and for espousing those values that are obviously at the core of the Ahmadiyyan beliefs.
The Pegida movement, or Patriotic Europeans Against the Islamization of the West, organised the marches. A week earlier, they had attracted some 18,000 followers to a similar demonstration in Dresden.
यकीनन जब हम लोग यहाँ आए, अहमदी यहाँ आए, जिन्होंने इस मुल्क की शरीयत इख्तियार की, अब उनका फ़र्ज़ बनता है कि वो अपनी तमाम तर सलाहियतों के साथ इस मुल्क की बेहतरी के लिए कोशिश करें। जो स्टूडेंट हैं वो तालीम हासिल करके मुल्क की तरक्की का हिस्सा बने, जो ताजर हैं वो भी अपनी तजारत में इंसाफ से काम लेते हुए अपने जहाँ कारोबार को फ़रोग़ दें, वहाँ टैक्सों की अदायगी में भी इंसाफ से काम लें, सच्चाई से काम लें, और ये कोशिश हो कि हम लोग जो इस मुल्क में आए हैं, जहाँ हमें मजहबी आज़ादी मिली है और हमें इस मुल्क में इस मुल्क के लोगों ने जज्ब किया है अपने अंदर, तो हम भी इनका ये एहसान हमेशा उतारते रहें और हक़ अदा करें। और वो इसी तरह हो सकता है जब अपने आप को इस मुल्क का हकीकी बाशिंदा और हकीकी हिस्सा समझें।
What I really liked and what really impressed me is that His Holiness is an open-minded person. I think this is really positive, that he enters a dialogue with people who might have different opinions, maybe about his religion too. I like this very much. What I have learned is that there is an Islam that is committed to traditions, but at the same time takes a strong stance against radicalism and is very clear on that position and does not hide when this topic comes up. I'm very much impressed by this gathering and especially by the message of love. During this, my mind went to the end-time sermon of Jesus Christ, in which he talked about the latter days where injustice would be ruling. But the worst thing on the latter days, which are actually currently happening, is that the love would be gone and this is the illness of this very time. But I experienced today that people gathered and shared their thoughts on the fact that love is stronger than hate. And when I think of that fact, especially about refugees, we often get to hear, you can't help everyone. This is completely wrong. When we all act with love, then we can help each other. We could learn from His Holiness that we can achieve integration if we want to. For example, the story of the Christians who searched for a place to worship and they were offered to pray in the mosque. This is the message I take with me, and I hope that also the churches take this philosophy so we can help the people who seek refuge.
And the tradition is upheld. New Archbishop of Canterbury applauded at the end of this inauguration service.
It was a great honour to meet His Holiness, and first meeting you explore who each other is a bit, and we talked a bit about his background, his extraordinary varied skills and background, and it was a wonderful meeting, hospitable, welcoming and warm, so I was very grateful. This is wonderful.
I feel the atmosphere of the reunions of the Ahmadiyya is so polite, so going towards foreigners like me, and also I admire the high quality of organization. When I heard that about 5,000 or so people are here, I think it must be an enormous work to arrange all these tents and all the logistics, from the water closet to dining and all the things. So it's absolutely perfect, and I like really the very friendly atmosphere of the Ahmadiyya. That is really great and a hopeful sign in our mostly very brutal world.
इश्क में मेल मुलाकात के दिल आए हैं, फिर मोहब्बत के तलिस्मात के दिन आए हैं.
The Prophet ﷺ taught the true Muslim is he whose heart and soul are intoxicated with the love of Allah and consumed by the belief that He alone is worthy of worship. This is the standard required. Otherwise, a person's proclamation of faith in Allah is reduced to superficial and hollow words.
Really enjoyed it, this event, and I was not expecting so many people, and also I must say that I was very touched by the fact that I did see the Khalifa, and I saw this energy, this positive energy, positive energy about the future, which is something that these days you don't see anywhere.
I do feel frustration that I still have to do this, yes. We should be a lot farther than we are, but with what's going on now in our national government, we're going back to the 50s.
If anyone claims that Islam does not give women freedom or that they are oppressed by men, it is your duty to show the world that Islam has given you true freedom, true liberty, and true enlightenment. It is your duty to show the world that whatever restrictions exist are not forced upon you by men, but are willingly and freely adopted, having observed the magnificent teachings of Islam.
An open letter to the women of the world from the women delegates and advisors at the First Assembly of the United Nations. We call on the governments of the world to encourage women everywhere.
Yet, what they neglect to mention is that until just a few decades ago, they failed to provide women with any rights whatsoever. When the men of these nations finally chose to grant some rights to women, it was done more to show that they were in favor of equality, whereas the truth was that their slogans in favor of women were often hollow and insincere. Any rights granted to women in recent times have been the result of necessity, rather than any deep desire for progress, and also as a means for the men to fulfill their own selfish desires. This is something that history has proven time and again.
An extremist mob numbering thousands attempted to murder Ahmadi Muslims at a chipboard factory in Jhelum, Pakistan.
Furthermore, when you interact with other people, you should speak kindly, and your conduct and manners should be exemplary. Seek ways to help and assist others, and try to solve their problems. Consider the pain of other people as though it is your own, and give comfort to them.
Using vulgar language, President Trump today questioned why the United States would allow people from Haiti and Africa into the country.
Tells you so much, a peace symposium, and I thought His Holiness had a lot to say about the responsibility of governments and also the use of religion for its proper purpose, but more importantly, recognizing when religion is not actually behind activity that we're all concerned about.
I firmly believe that if we truly wish to protect our world and to ensure we leave behind a legacy of opportunity for those who follow us, it is essential that every effort is made to raise the standards of the developing world. Poor nations must not be looked down upon. Rather, we should consider them as part of our family, our brothers and sisters. By helping the developing nations stand on their own feet, and by giving their people opportunities and hope, we will actually be helping ourselves and safeguarding the future of the world.
I feel it's quite impressive that so many persons are gathering on the topic of peace and disarmament, and I think this is a hopeful sign, and especially the motto of the Ahmadiyya, non-hatred for anybody but love for everybody. And this is excellent, and it should be incorporated into the United Nations Declaration.
الدليل الذي جمعناه من الموقع الذي تحريناه وخاصة الأدلة الجنائية تشير إلى أن هجوما واسعا ومنسقا شن على المدنيين وخاصة المدنيين الروهينجا. الإنسانية أولا هي وكالة مساعدات دولية تقدم العون والمساعدة للمحتاجين بغض النظر عن عرقهم أو دينهم أو انتمائهم السياسي، وقد حظي المؤتمر السنوي الأول لمنظمة الإنسانية لهذا العام بتلقي التوجيه المباشر من حضرة الخليفة.
We should be there to wipe away the tears of those who have been left bereft, heartbroken and vulnerable.
وشرف حضرته أيضا الجمعية الأحمدية الإسلامية الطبية بحضور هذا العام، وقد تحدث عن رؤية المنظمة قائلا:
The Prophet ﷺ taught that service to humanity was a fundamental purpose for his advent. and his expectations from the Jamaat in this regard were extremely high. Therefore, I hope and expect that you will seriously reflect upon this point and seek to produce ever better results and to selflessly serve humanity to the best of your abilities. This is your mission. This is your purpose. This is your objective.
The annual convention of the Germany Jamaat is one of great importance due to the presence of Khilafat. This year was no different. Hazur addressed the participants on all 3 days of the convention. With so many conventions taking place across the globe, it is impossible for one man to be in so many places at once. But the blessings of MTA International has made this a reality. One such is the convention that takes place in the home of the Messiah, Qadian. A live two-way link enables the participants of this blessed Jalsa to listen and interact with their beloved leader as his voice echoes throughout the village of Qadian and the entire world.
مجلس الشورى هو مجلس استشاري تم إحداثه ليقدم المشورة من أجل تحسين وتطوير الجماعة الإسلامية الأحمدية لنشر تعاليم الإسلام الصحيحة. حوالي 500 عضو ومدعو حضروا هذا المجلس في هذه السنة، وقال حضرته مخاطبا الحاضرين:
Every Shura member must understand that nothing can be achieved without righteousness, and that no amount of debate or discussion will ever prove fruitful without it. Righteousness requires you to have a constant fear of Allah in your heart and an understanding that Allah, the Almighty, knows your every thought and intention. He knows if the intentions underpinning your public views are sincerely held or whether they are clouded by vested interests.
Allahu Akbar.
आज 23 मार्च है और ये दिन जमात में यौम मसीह मौत के हवाले से याद किया जाता है। आज एक ये भी ऐलान है और खुशी की खबर भी है कि यहाँ से अखबार अल-हकम जो कादियान से निकला करता था और दोबारा इसकी इशाअत 1934 में शुरू हुई, फिर बंद हो गया, आज अंग्रेज़ी ज़बान में उसका यहाँ से इजरा हो रहा है। और ये अखबार जो है हज़रत मसीह अलैहिस्सलाम के ज़माने में का पहला अखबार था।
CNN's Stan Grant is in Kabul, Afghanistan. Today he got the rare chance to go inside a madrasa, an Islamic religious school. What he saw there is genuinely frightening.
दुनिया को आग के गड्ढे में गिरने से बचाना है, दुनिया को खुदा ताला के करीब करना है। बस इस मकसद के हसूल के लिए आप लोगों ने अपनी ज़िंदगियाँ वक्फ की थी और इस मकसद के हसूल के लिए आप लोगों को अब अपनी तमाम तर सलाहियतों और ताकतों के साथ मैदान अमल में आना चाहिए। बस याद रखें कि ये काम आराम से अपने अंजाम को पहुंचने वाला नहीं है। इसके लिए आपको कोशिश करनी पड़ेगी, इसके लिए बेइंतहा मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी, इसके लिए अपनी हालतों में एक इनकलाबी तब्दीली लानी होगी।
عید مبارک عید عید مبارک عید.
ہم پر اللہ تعالیٰ کتنا احسان ہے کہ حقیقی اسلام کی طرف ہمیں حضرت مسیح علیہ السلام کے ذریعے سے رہنمائی ملی ہے. اللہ تعالیٰ ہمیں توفیق دے کہ ہم اعلیٰ معیار اور اللہ تعالیٰ کی رضا حاصل کرتے ہوئے نیکیاں بجا لانے والے ہوں، بندوں کے حق ادا کرنے والے ہوں، انسانیت کی خدمت کرنے والے ہوں، تاکہ عید کی حقیقی خوشیاں ہمیں ہمیشہ حاصل ہوتی رہیں.
تم کو مبارک ہو کہ اب نزدیک ہیں اس میرے محبوب کے چہرے کے دکھلانے کے دن.
We are doing our best within our limited resources.